internal conflict resolution filter number 4, and that is your decisions. Let's jump in to see how decisions are affecting your internal conflict. Hey guys, Matt Tait back again for the ebook, How to Resolve Your Internal Conflict. And now we move into activity number 4. Just quickly show you my little view here at the Talabudra Creek Inlet. Very nice through here. And beautiful spot, everyone's out there having a good time in the water, as you can see, having a great time. And so this is in Queensland on the Gold Coast. Now, let's start with your number 4 activity. So we're going to go through the different filters first and check out what it is that you've done inside yourself. This is where we look at all your filters, we'll go through them, and then we'll see where these decisions might have come from and how you can make a better one. Okay, so let's load up your problem. Let's look at the problem that you had. What were the filters we've looked at so far? There's been 3 of them so far. We had the identity statement. Number 1 might have been I am sad, I am afraid, I am alone, I am sad, I am angry, whatever it might have been. So that's the identity statement. The next one was what's important about that. What is important about that shame or that guilt or that anger? The one after that is your belief. What is it you're believing about yourself, about the situation? What's the filter that you've turned on here in the beliefs? Those beliefs are a huge part of it. And now we move into the decisions. Decisions. So you can make a decision consciously and you can make a decision unconsciously. So write down in the book what decision you would like to make instead, and then you can go to work on it. And you can go to work on that being both unconscious and conscious. Because if you don't make the unconscious decision, it's like your conscious mind is riding on a horse. And your conscious mind is on the horse and that horse is called the unconscious. And if your conscious mind, the jockey, does not have a good relationship with the unconscious mind, the horse, then you, my friend, are going for a ride through the wilderness at breakneck speed. Why, I hear you ask? Because the horse wants to buck you off. It wants to get you off its back, instead of forming a great relationship with your horse as a jockey. A working relationship, a loving relationship, a positive relationship. And that horse will ride with you and work with you. Why? Because it knows you're here to look after it. So that's the key to making good decisions. Getting your unconscious mind on board the horse so that the jockey actually does have the control. It's a critical piece. And if you don't have it, you will be found going along at breakneck speed through the wilderness. Your decisions, what were those decisions you made? And now we'll go through them. So you had, I am ashamed, I am guilty, I am angry, I am afraid, whatever it was, your identity statement. And of course we can expand on those. Those are the I am statements that are number 1 filter. Let me look at your problem in the context of your values. What was important to you about that? What is driving you to either hold on to it, or driving you to feel bad about it, or driving you to really want to do something differently? And that's a whole area of exploration in that filter. Then we move into the 3rd filter, which was your beliefs. Like, what's important about that thing changing? What's important about you shifting and evolving? And then we move into these decisions. Here are the thoughts that you can roll with. This comes from the meta model. How did you make that decision? When did you make that decision? Where did you make that decision? Where you decided that you weren't enough, that you were not going to be able to do this thing, in that belief system. And you might consciously know when you made that decision, or you may not know. It's going to be in two different areas, the known and the unknown, right? That's the two different areas you're dealing with, the known beliefs and the unknown beliefs. And there might be a known situation where, yep, it's pretty obvious when this happened, how it happened, why it happened. But sometimes it's not. That's where you do the deeper one-on-one work with someone like myself. And so that's what we're dealing with. It's the decisions you made. So if you know what that decision is, when you decided that you couldn't do something, or when you decided that you weren't enough, or when you decided that you were going to take on this shame and hold on to it, or the anger, or whatever it might be, write that down in the ebook right now, and then we'll move on to the next piece. Now, if you don't have one, there are many ways of trying to find that decision, that limiting belief. When did you actually make that decision? And the goal is to reframe it, to change the decision. And here's another question which I always ask my clients, and that's, what do you want instead? What would be a more empowering decision? What would be a decision that would give you more options? What would be a decision that would allow you to move forward? And one of the ways we get to that, if it's an unconscious decision, is we have to do something like a timeline or a self-directed healing session or some sort of assistant. You can do it with havening, you can do it with hypnosis, you can do it with, I think, heart math as well. I mean, there's a whole lot of different situations you could do it with. And that's the unconscious process. And then there's a very conscious process where you can make a new decision. You can make a new decision, right, that's it, I've had enough. It's time to move on. And I mean, you get people who are like smokers, and they make a decision, and then all of a sudden one day it stops. It's a conscious decision that is reinforced heavily by an unconscious decision. There's something more important, and what's going on is there's a value. Something really important that the person values is absolutely critical. And there's a belief, some kind of a belief that that thing had to change. It might be a value of something more important than you, like your kids. It might be a value of other people will be let down. Often that's the case, is that when other people are involved, we won't let them down at all. All right, guys, I'll see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed activity number 4, where you can make better and more empowering decisions. This is Tait from Fork in the Road, and I hope to see you in activity number 5 of the ebook.